Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it's been a good hot minute since we actually had some historically styled models on this channel, and somebody had mentioned to me that Blood and Plunder from Firelock Games had some sailors, and I was like, yeah, okay. But, if you read the fine print here, which I'm learning how to do, 24 multi-part, 28mm, standard 156 scale, hard plastic sailors. So I'm like, oh, that got me intrigued. Obviously, if you're into pirates, this is going to be a fun set. Like the paintings on the box, I feel like are doable. They don't seem as fantabulous as, like Angel Herald does this stuff. So I can do it if I wanted to try to match the box illustrations, which I might. Let's take a look at what's inside. So we do have 24. Okay. Where are these getting made? That's always my first thought. They remind me somewhat of the sprue layout for War Games Atlantic's newer stuff. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But on the other hand, it kind of gives off a bit of a War Games Factory, the guys that do all the Kingdom Death stuff vibe. Hard to say. So what do we got? We got a spear, pistols, ammo packs, muskets. Bodies are all one piece. So if that's a plus or minus for you, I don't know. We do have hands on... I think that's a hand. Is that a hand holding the axe? Yeah. Okay. More pistols. Various arms. It does seem that the arms are going to be, yes, numbered. So if there's a specific one you want, they should all match up. A couple more spears on there. So it's nice to see we've got a variety of hand weapons. Even though there's a good selection on here, I'm always more inclined to see what can I possibly dig out of my bits box and slap on these. What do we have up here? A variety of heads. And it looks to be... I'm curious if certain head tops go with certain head bottoms. Should say hats and heads, but that would make too much sense. I like the drink pouch. It's an interesting one. If you're like me and always on the lookout for interesting new hats, you got at least 5 or 6 on the sprue here, so that's good. I'm going to say that I don't think these heads have any specific hats or hoodies or caps or bandanas to go with them, because there's just so many different ones on the sprue, so that's a good sign. I guess I am a bit dismayed that there's only, one set design for the body rather than a variety of mix and match torsos. What's this? This makes it feel even more like an old War Games Factory, with the... I'm thinking of like the Samurai Kit, because I want to say the Samurai Kit had something similar with it from way back in the day. Now this is interesting. I'm wondering then, because this is all D, if one body is designed specifically for one set of arms. Would be the case. Obviously, I'm going to try to go against that grain just to see what happens there. If there are 24 in a box, how many... Maybe my math doesn't add up right. Box says 24. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus 6 does not make 24, does it? Well, that's interesting. Maybe this is something that's been addressed online and I'm just now discovering it. because when I find their bases here, if I can get them open because they're kind of cool to look at, they're of the very tiddlywink design, but you'll see they're kind of all wooden planks, which is kind of nice. And there's no way that that is going to be 24. That looks like 12. I'm guessing there was a misprint on that box. Let me see if the back says any different. Yeah, set contains 12. Set contains 24. All right. Well, let's set the record straight. That should be a 12. But that's not a big deal. I mean, they show 12 on the box as well. So I'll stop blabbering for a little bit. I will get some of these put together, and why don't we see how they turn out? Sit tight. So we've got a few of the pirates put together. Since there's not a whole lot of extra bodies and bits, I didn't want to get as experimental as I really would have liked to. So I kind of started out by following some of the directions, and I mean, they worked okay. I didn't even notice that. Obviously, they are in need of a little bit more cleaning. I feel like this guy's got a really long neck, and I don't know if I just didn't attach it right. I don't like him hunched over like that. And the fact that he can actually hold his gun, that's a rarity for me. So I was impressed by that fact. One issue I had was, maybe it's just my glue, but a lot of their hands kept falling off. And another spot that needs some better cleaning. You can see here that hand's been re-glued multiple times, and I don't know why. His head feels kind of small for the body. And I know I'm being generally nitpicky with what I'm saying, but overall I actually kind of like him. I think that there is a lot of potential here. But one of the things I noticed about this kit was that there are a lot of guns, a lot of pistols. So if you are playing something that would require a ridiculous amount of flintlock pistols, or if you wanted to, let's say, put them on Frostgrave style bodies, of which you can see here that they are going to be quite, God, I got glue all over this dude, quite comparable in sizes. I was looking for some of my Ghost Archipelago guys just to see how well they're going to work. But, the fact that they already are cut off and, cut at the wrist basically means that's going to make conversions for stuff like Frostgrave and Ghost Archipelago a lot easier, Oathmark. So if you want to have a bunch of my first thought was getting a bunch of parry stuff maybe, and like there's Zweihander guys. No, they don't make Zweihanders. I'm thinking of a Warlord. But I was still thinking Zweihanders. Anyway, I'm thinking about getting a bunch of historical kits and then give them a bunch of pistols and stuff, and have a bunch of Empire handgunner types. These bases are a little on the small side, let's be honest. I think if we even things out, you can see here that the size is pretty decent. So, obviously they're not super true scale, but they don't have anywhere near like the hands of a Frostgrave model. But, they're kind of fun. And obviously, I've got glue or something. I don't know. That's one of the things. You can see I did a lovely glue job there. Looking at everything up close and personal on the camera zoomed in really lets you see what a wonderful job you didn't realize you did. And that was the tail end of my last tester's model. So maybe that's why things are not sticking as well they should, and stringing all over the place. But overall the detail is there. I can't complain about that. The poses aren't bad, and they're not all stiff. See, he's like sliding his arm down. And I do like their little floorboard bases. They're a little on the small side, though. They're obviously like 20mm bases. there's not a lot of wiggle room. But if you were going to use them for something else, I mean, it'd be a tight fit. Now, one of the things, after looking at those directions, you may have noticed that, they were very specific as to which parts go with which body. To a degree, I would agree with that. Like, obviously, to get the double-handed stuff, this was the intended body. But I think, and I know, because I was goofing around with some of them, the heads, you probably could mess around with and convert and change up. The arms, absolutely. There's such a massive amount of those pistols on those sprues. You can really go wild with them. Which actually leads me to a surprise, was that there wasn't much in the way of extra weapons for the hand stuff. So you can see, like, we've got the one hand axe that I need to clip off a little bit better there. But there was mostly, like, we had a few swords, a few sabers, and, again, a ton of pistols, which I guess would have been pretty fitting. But still, I would have liked a little bit more variety. I think the variety of what you get for heads and hats is probably going to be a lot more important. But overall, I gotta say it's a fun little kit. Size-wise, looks good. Hopefully we will get around to messing with some of those extra body parts, because as you can see, I think they'll work really well with a lot of the North Star stuff in terms of their sizing. I just had a mantic guy, I was thinking. I mean, if you wanted to have a bunch of Basilian pistoliers, that's probably doable. If you wanted to make like some free folks or just city folk, I think that might be another possibility there. So I definitely can see a lot of potential for these. Again, I feel like you're going to get your value out of this, number one, if you want a bunch of pirates, but number two, if you are looking for those kinds of weapon conversions. Sure, the arms may be a little bit different in size with the hands attached, but overall, I think they're going to be pretty cool and compatible for a lot of the other similarly sized figures out there. So do keep your eyes peeled. And who knows, maybe we'll see like a captain set like with the Frostgrave figures. I mean, I'm all for more plastics. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled. So for their first initial kit, I got to say, I'm pretty happy with it. So I did save back the extra sprue. Hopefully we'll get around to goofing with those. And if you guys have had any experiences playing around with these Blood and Plunder figures, by all means, share it down in the comments below, and we'll have a link if you guys want to check those out as well. So, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.